Hello and welcome to Ian's fat loss journey. This is not a prep. Basically what I want to do is document my fat loss and bring you along, and it might transition into a prep. So right now it's just general fat loss, and in order to lose fat I just need to sustain a calorie deficit, and this is how I want to kind of come across is that it's a transitional period. So at this moment, all I'm doing is just eating less. Now, I am a little bit of a geek, as you're going to see, so I do document my stuff in detail, but all I need to focus on is, am I eating less than I previously have, which is it's relatively easy. And I want you to see my thoughts, my thinking behind my nutrition. In 2017, if you look there, I started at about 95 kilos in January, ended up here at 76 point something. It wasn't intentional for me to get that lean. I got to 85 kilos, held it for a month, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to take this a little bit further. The one thing I regret is I just didn't collect enough data, or any data. I really just started looking into it towards the end. Well, 2020, don't know where it's going to go. I thought I might as well start, and then if it keeps going, giving weekly updates like this. The thing that's holding me back really is I don't want to have a negative impact on my son, my family, and 2017 got really tough towards the end. General fat loss and weight management, that's habits, behaviors. So once I'm finished prep, I just go back to kind of normal, put a bit of body fat on, have normal bodily functions and sleep and energy levels and all of those sorts of things. Anyway, I've prattled on. You enjoy the video. Any questions, just hit me up in the comments, and it'll give me material going forward if you have any particular questions or want to know certain specifics. Anyway, thank you very much. Speak to you hopefully soon. Hello. Well, okay, that was a little bit excitable. It's like I was introducing a podcast there. So this is just a little casual overview of my 2020 fat loss. Now, you don't need to go to this level of detail, but I'm a geek, I'm a data geek, and in future I would like to look back upon this, these tracking methods, and maybe even these videos. So hello future Ian, you're doing great, you've done great. So all I want to do is just give you a brief overview of my statistics, my starting statistics, my very starting statistics. Try saying that fast 3 times, I nearly did there. Okay, so I was about 89 kilos. I am 34. I know, doesn't look it. My height, I'm a man, a man's man. I've got my physical activity levels, which I've rated at a 1.7. Basically, I know roughly I need about 3,200 calories to maintain weight. So I just play around with this physical activity level till it says this, okay? How much of a deficit I want puts us about 2,600 calories. My protein targets, I'm having about 200 grams, and the amount of fat that I'm going to eat equates to around that. Okay, so I just put these in myself, I rounded things up, 270 and 259. So this is how I was going to organize my week when I started. So we'll go into like how things are going a little bit, but what you can see is I have different amounts on different days in order to have this average at the end of the week, which is just shy of 2,600. Okay, there's no need to be like ridiculously anal. So what I'm going to go through is actually how I'm progressing. So if I click on my nutrition tab, this was actually not last week, the week before, but I kind of started, as cliche as it sounds, just after the New Year. All right. So this is, I'm going to just skip ahead to actual last week where I started tracking a little bit more. So with these first few days, I just put 90 kilos. I guess that would be what I was carrying after New Year. Ignore them dates. I need to change them, really. So let's actually focus on last week. Okay, so this is me average weight. Average weight is 87.9. This is just me establishing a baseline to work from. These are the times that I weighed in. Usually with people, if they're weighing in all over the place, it might influence this. Typically when I'm up very early, I weigh a little bit more, but when I'm had a little bit more of a lie-in, the weight starts to drop a little bit. These are my calories, roughly, okay? But what I want you to do, as I said, have a look at these. I haven't put my fibre in, not massively important. I eat lots of fibre, fruits and vegetables. So these are my actual calories that I've ate. Okay, this is my training split, so it's a 6-day push-pull leg, rest. Okay, I've set up here, if you have a little look, 2,600 calories and 200 grams of protein. I am actually around 225 calories. My average is that much less. All right, quick add calories. So when it comes to fat loss at this phase for me, it really isn't all that different to my normal diet. All I'm trying to do is reduce calories in my diet. So I am still eating the meals that me and my wife will normally eat. However, I'm just kind of reining them in a little bit. So if we're having a Sunday lunch, I'll have less potatoes. If we're having a pasta dish, I may only have one garlic bread cheese instead of two, like, you know, the little toasty things. They're very delicious, and a little bit less pasta. So all I'm trying to do at this phase is reduce portion size. So I have put in there, you know, Sunday lunch, evening meal, untracked, but it has calories in. Everything we eat has calories in. So I just approximate that it's around 1,000 calories for that meal. I allocate some of my budget. So what we can see is it will impact these. Okay, I put in a little summary there, so basically I can kind of see what's happening when I look back. Oh, this were my thoughts and feelings at that time. If I go to this week, I have popped this morning's weight in, and it's telling us that my average is 87.5 kilos, which is half a kilo less roughly than last week, and then an overall 1.9. Now I always expect the first week of dieting for me, especially off the back of Christmas when I've been eating a lot. So going on to these quick add calories, all right, what you can see is if I put 1,500 calories in there, it's going to go on to my total calories, okay, and then it's going to average up as it goes, okay, and it's saying that I'm 1,100 shy of my average, okay. If I just put in here, let's say if I do have 200 grams of protein, I have 200 grams of carbs and 70 grams of fat, all right, it's going to tally it up, tell us my averages, tell us my average fat, it's going to tell us my average protein. Let's say if I had 185, just as an example, it's saying I'm 15 grams short of my target, okay. Yeah, so this is really how geeky I am. I just love data, I love numbers, that's my personality type. It gives me measurable kind of things that I can actually change. Daily activity, all right, I'm an active guy, okay, so if you notice, if I go back here just for a second, we have this cardio section. I do not do any additional cardio because my energy expenditure is just through the roof through steps, okay. In 2017, all I did was steps. I had a step goal and I stuck to it. In this, I do like to keep a log of how my sleep is, my hunger, my stress, my energy, my motivation to train. All right, my steps average, and obviously as well my sleep, okay. So if we're going into last week, just getting a few messages there, I'm sorry. So popular. So average steps last week was 17,000. Sleep was just around 7 hours, which is absolutely fine. I log all that good stuff, and there you go. I can take my measurements, but I'm not really that arsed about measurements. I know things are going to go down, and then my weight's just graphed nicely. So yeah, going into next week. So right, just obviously, why have I went 20 less than 2,400 average instead of the 2,600? Well, if I look at my planning ahead bit, okay, and if I go to 25, I've had a 25% deficit instead of a 20% deficit, which results in greater rate of fat loss. Now, I didn't really plan on eating that little, but I guess it's because I'm coming from a fed state. I just feel like I just wasn't hungry. I was fine. So I just kind of ate less than I had planned. All that's going to do is result, as I mentioned, in a greater rate of fat loss. I have things planned for this year. There'll be social occasions. There will be there's weddings, there's stag do's, things like that. So all I'm going to do is kind of have a little bit of an aggressive start, okay, and then I can. So this is what people get wrong. If I eat 3,100 calories, I'm still in a deficit, given this body weight. As I lose weight, yep, the maintenance calories will come down, but it doesn't really matter so long as you are in an overall deficit, what percent deficit that is. So there will be periods during my week where I am eating at maintenance. There'll be periods where I am eating more of an aggressive deficit. It's just the totality of energy in versus energy out, which brings about energy balance and whether I gain or lose weight. So far, I'm quite happy with my appetite, my energy levels. I'm training well, I'm sleeping well, I feel great. So take advantage while the margins are this big, okay? As I lose weight, the margins become smaller and smaller. And this is where I'll probably get more dialed in, but I am literally weeks away from that. All I need to do right now is just focus solely on fat loss. This is all this is. I don't know where I'm taking this. I don't know whether it's going to develop into something, whether it's a photo shoot or competing. I don't really plan that far ahead. All I know is I'm just going to initiate a little bit of fat loss and I'm happy with that. And then we'll go from there. And as a side note, if people are trying to lose weight, you don't need to do this. All you need to do is lower calories from a habitual standpoint. So as I mentioned with the Sunday lunch and the pasta, if you can reduce portion sizes, if you can say, if you have spaghetti bolognese, swap them from 15% to 5% mince, if it's cooking in fry light instead of oil, just all you need to do is reduce calories from your habitual diet. You don't need to drastically change your diet. And in reality, this is why I find dieting or losing body fat quite easy, because I don't change my diet. I just eat less of it. And I think successful dieting comes as a result of like enjoying the foods that you eat. I mean, on Saturday night, me and the wife had a pizza and chips and all of that good stuff. So, like I will be getting into half decent shape and losing body fat while enjoying the food I love. Anyway, that just gives you an insight of week 1. So obviously week 2, I'll go over the week. It might be longer, it might be shorter. It's probably going to be shorter because that just gives you a general overview. If you do have any questions, just slip in the comments. And yeah, thank you very much for paying attention.